Ariane.
Oh, I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Daisy?
I'm pretty good. What is something interesting or fun that you've done this week, Ariane?
Well, I'm taking a class right now that's really interesting. So that's something that's fun that I've been up to. What is something exciting that you've done this week, Daisy?
Well, I've been working lots, so that's been busy, but I have been working a lot with my new friend at work, which makes work a lot more fun. So I've been looking forward to work more, so that's good.
Well, something that's been really fun and exciting is that it's getting warmer outside and it's spring. And that means lots of people are thinking about planting their gardens or planting flowers for their yards or balconies. Daisy, do you like to plant?
I do. It's one of my favorite things about spring. When spring comes, we get to go to a store and buy some flowers, and then we get to plant them, and it's so pretty and one of my favorite parts of the year.
That's really cool. I've never planted anything before, so I decided that this spring I was going to learn. So far I've learned that not all soils are the same. Some are better for growing things than others, and even more particularly, some are more well suited to certain plants than others. For example, we have a special soil just for succulents and cacti.
Wow, it seems like soil can make all the difference in how likely it is that a particular seed might sprout and thrive. Today, we're going to share a story about a gardener who spread some seeds on different kinds of soil, and we'll see what happened. great story for talking about the importance of good soil and what that does to plants. It really showed us how the seeds that grew on the rocks where the sun and birds could get them, they couldn't survive. And the seeds on the dry soil couldn't survive either because they had no water. They grew, but they withered and then they died, which is really sad. So it just shows how important good soil is for the growth of plants.
You're so right, Daisy. And then in the video, the seeds on soil with weeds where they were crowded couldn't survive either. And then finally, the seeds on the good soil where they could grow thrived. This story was really interesting because it was like a lesson of how we can be like the different kinds of soil. Imagine that each of us is a garden and there are seeds of love planted in us.
Sometimes if someone has hurt us, the love gets swallowed up and it doesn't grow.
And sometimes when we are very happy and when we feel that love, we sing and dance. But later, it's like our love gets neglected and we forget about it.
Totally, that's true. And sometimes we're busy and we have a lot going on and we're thinking about so many other things. And so that love gets overshadowed and we don't really have as much time for love.
You're so right. And sometimes we let love really grow inside us. And when that happens, we can show love and kindness to other people, and others can see it blooming too.
It's just like how in the story, how it takes a specific conditions and specific weather and stuff for a seed to grow, just like how it takes specific conditions and everything for us to let love grow. How do you think that you guys can help create good soil in your family with your friends and everyone that you love so that everyone can feel loved? Ariane, how do you think that you could do that?
That's a good question. Good soil usually has lots of nutrients and it's really well looked after. So I think one way that I could create good soil in my family is to make sure everyone in my family that their needs are met. So I could make sure that whether it's through time or spending time together or just talking to them, whatever my family members need, I help provide that for them. And then maybe that will show them how much I love them and will help grow my family.
That's so amazing, Ariane. I love it.
Daisy, what do you think is growing in you that you want to make sure you care for?
Well, I love giving gifts to my friends. I had in May, just this past week, I had 3 of my best friends' birthdays, and I just love giving gifts to people and giving them gifts that are really thoughtful and nice just to show them how much I care and love them. And I think that this is something growing in me, a nice thing that giving gifts shows people that I love them. And I think that this is something that I want to make sure I care for.
That was such a good answer, Daisy. I think it's so important that you care for things inside of you that make yourself feel good and also make others feel good too.
Definitely. I think that that video was such a good video to show us just the importance of caring and the importance of just finding the right conditions and the right things that we need to make our love and help our love grow.
think so too, Daisy. It was such a great way to think of soil as being this nurturing substance that provides for all of us. And it shows that when we take care of ourselves, like when the plants were in an area where they could grow well, how much better they were off and how much happier they were.
Exactly. If you guys want to think about how that video and all those things we talked about relate to you, and you could come up with your own answers and answer the questions we asked, that would be so great.
These are some really great discussions to have with your friends and your family.
Okay, so now since we've been talking this week all about soil and plants and growing good plants in good soil, we thought that we would do a little plant craft. So what you're going to need is a pot with some soil, and like Ariane talked about earlier, if you have a specific plant that you want to plant, maybe you could get the right kind of soil for it and it'll be perfect. So first you'll need a pot or like a little starter tray or anything and your soil. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to plant some seeds. So I have a lot of seeds here with me, and I think today I'm going to plant some peas. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to probably follow the instructions on the container. So I'm just going to get some of these seeds, and I'm just going to plant them in my soil. I'll just put them under the surface. Beautiful. I think I'll start with 3. And, all right, and cover them up all nice. And then what plants also need to grow other than good soil, what's really important is some water. So I have my watering can, and you're going to water it to make sure it's all nice and hydrated. Because if they're too dry, they won't live. Perfect. All right, and then also a really important thing that plants need is light. So make sure that you put your plant in maybe outside or maybe in a window, somewhere that it'll get lots of natural lighting so that it can grow big and strong. You could also put in a little label stick or something that you could just make sure you know what you're planting, and it'll be perfect. You could write on it peas or beans or whatever you're gonna grow, or if you can't write yet, you could draw things on it like a heart, because you're just like growing love and it'll be awesome. Or you could draw anything you like just to make your plant a little bit more fun.
So the really fun thing about this craft is that you get to watch your plant grow. So you guys just saw Daisy do the beginning step of planting the seeds. And if you're patient and if you nurture your plant, it will grow into a beautiful plant. So this is an example of what it might look like. So this is my plant that has been growing for a long time now, but was once just a seed in the soil. And I have a stick in my plant too that I wrote on it, "Love grows in a happy heart." So this is like the end of the craft.
That's beautiful. I can't wait to watch my plant grow into something like yours.
Now we're going to do another craft, but this time we're going to make a really fun snack. So we challenge you guys at home to make a snack that represents or looks like soil or looks like a little garden. So both Daisy and I are doing this different ways. So Daisy, what was the fun snack you decided to do?
Well, today I baked some cupcakes. So I made some chocolate cupcakes with some chocolate icing so that it looks like a little bit like soil and dirt. What did you make, Ariane?
So I decided to take some pudding that I have, and I'm going to put some hot chocolate powder on top of it so it looks like soil.
That's a great idea. You guys can use anything you have at home if you have brownies or anything that could resemble soil, and it can be just as fun. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to pretend to plant something in your, your cupcake or your pudding or whatever you have. You're going to plant some seeds. So I have some chocolate chips that I'm going to use as some seeds.
And I am going to plant a strawberry in my pudding.
I also have some chocolate sprinkles here with me to put on the top of my cupcake to make it look more like, I don't know, prickly, fun, loose soil.
That's a great idea, Daisy. I am just going to sprinkle some hot chocolate mix on top to make it look like soil.
And you guys can just remember to have fun with it. It doesn't have to look a lot like soil. It can look just delicious. All right, and now I'm going to get my chocolate chips and I'm going to plant them in my soil. Ariane, do you think your strawberry will grow a whole strawberry bush in your pudding?
I sure hope so, but even if it doesn't, it's going to be really tasty to eat.
It will be.
What do you think yours will grow into, Daisy?
Oh, well, I would love a chocolate tree that just gave me delicious chocolate, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
So let's see yours, Daisy.
Oh, I've just been planting my chocolate chips into my soil.
That's awesome.
How does yours look?
Oh, it looks really good. It looks like some soil on top with a little strawberry plant.
It looks so cute. I love it.
Thanks, Daisy. Looks really good.
Yeah, and it's a delicious snack as well. So it's not only fun to pretend and like we did before to also plant things, but this time we can actually eat right away our efforts. All right, once you guys have planted all your seeds into your soil, you can just go ahead and eat it. We hope you enjoy this cute little snack.
Thank you so much for watching our episode, and we hope you had so much fun and you grow such amazing plants this week and make a really yummy snack. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.